I'm going to play that one more time. I'm going to play that one more time. All right, people, it's Jerlene, and I'm live. Yes, I'm live on a Wednesday. Got so much to cover, so I'll hold on just a moment, see if some folks join. Let me get a few things set up. Hope everybody is doing well on this Wednesday in May. May happens to be my favorite month of the year. It's because my birthday's in May. So, it's my favorite month of the year. But this weather has been crazy, people. This weather has been absolutely crazy. It's like we feel like we're in the middle of the summer. So anyways, Jerlene, and I'm live. All right, I'm live. Talk of the town. All Politricks are local. I'm here to continue the conversation on politics. Tonight, I'm going to continue the conversation on campaign finances. So, all Politricks are local. All politics are local. Long Beach Politricks. Here in Long Beach, we have an election coming up, a local election. The election is for our local council seats, odd number 13579, and mayor position. We also have elections in our assembly district, congressional district, and school board odd numbers as well. Oh, let me turn off some of these notifications now before they start. Because last time what happened, I got a little distracted. My phone started buzzing and beeping and everything else. So let me just turn everything off so I don't have to worry about that to get distracted. So anyway, here to talk about local politics. I know a lot of space has been sucked up with our mayor's race, but it's a very crucial conversation, right? Our mayor's race is a crucial conversation, and our council districts are just as important as the mayor's race, because it's the council people, our council representatives, that actually impact us directly. So as much attention is being paid on this mayor's race, we have to be paying attention to what is going on in our council races as well. So something about Long Beach. Long Beach is the 42nd most populous city in the United States of America. We have approximately 466,000 people that live in our city, almost 500,000. We are the 7th largest city in California. The city of Long Beach employs over 5,500 people. Cal State Long Beach has over 3,200. Long Beach Unified School District has over 1,200 employees. LBCC, Long Beach City College, has over 2,700 employees. And I mention that because all those different things and those different agencies, they interact to provide services to those of us who live in the city. So when we think about what's going on in local politics, those numbers matter. So when we think about who it is that we want or who it is that we need to lead our city, those numbers are relevant. So the last time, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull something up. I've been getting some pushback and pushback on some of the things that I've been sharing, right? And my goal is, because I want people to think for themselves. I want people to be able to make a decision for themselves. I am a free thinker. Yet I also make informed decisions based upon information. So I shared this quote last time: "You must think for yourself, or others will do your thinking for you. I personally like thinking for myself. So when I'm going live and I'm having these conversations, it's about inspiring you and encouraging you to think for yourself. Not group think, not because some flyer or mailer told you what to think, not because some Facebook post told you what to think, but because you have the information that you need to be able to make a sound decision. I had shared this quote also, and this is really interesting, especially with some of the information that I've shared in the last couple of days. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. So it's really interesting that even though information is available to us, even though information is being provided to us, we still seem to be approaching some of this information with a blind mind. So anyway, I wanted to share those two things before I dive into tonight's conversation. Want to remind you, if you haven't been to your mailbox, I hope you've been to your mailbox. By now, you should have received your official sample ballot. Many of us have received our actual mail-in ballots. So you can mail in your ballot or you can go to a voting center. Voting centers open up, I believe, next week. Next week, y'all can start going down to they're not called polls anymore. They're called voting centers, but you can go to any voting center in Los Angeles County and cast your vote. Or you can put it in the mail. Yes, mine is still closed. No, I have not mailed mine in. I will most likely be dropping mine off at the polling center. But I believe it's an option. I believe I can drop it off, or if I don't mail it at all, I can go in and I can, well, no, actually for me, I have to drop it off because I'm actually registered as a permanent absentee voter. So check it out. So what have you been getting in the mail, people? Have you been getting flyers? Lovely mailers. Let's see. I got one for Al Austin for State Assembly. Dan Miles, Long Beach City Auditor. Oh, yeah, those are races too. We got an auditor, attorney, and city prosecutor. Those races are also up, and I have not spent any time really talking about those. I am going to go to an event on the weekend or Friday, so I may be able to have some more commentary about that. We have a 7th District Council member, Roberta Uranga. This one's what, Mayor? This is Rex Richardson for mayor. Josh Lowenthal for assembly. Another Richardson Uranga. That's all I got. Maybe I didn't bring all my mail up. So anyway, check your mailboxes, folks. But I do share these for a reason. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything you see on these things, right? If there's an opportunity for you to be able to engage and connect with voters, please do that. On my Facebook page, I've been sharing flyers of different events. Check them out. Go show up. You know, if some require you to RSVP, some don't. But if something is being shown online, please, you should tap into that as well. All right. Campaign finances. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right into two things I'm going to talk about tonight. Campaign finances and some of these mailers that have gone out in the this last week. So what's interesting, a mailer hit the other night, other day. Well, I don't know exactly when it hit because I didn't get it. It wasn't mailed to me. It was text messaged me and emailed to me by about 6 different people. But it was a hit piece. And a hit piece, what is a hit piece? A hit piece is when someone targets a candidate and goes out after them and try to take them out. So I'm going to share this. Take myself off screen. Many folks have already seen this. Well, not many folks. Folks who received it in the mail saw it. People who follow social media probably saw it locally, and people who read the Long Beach Post saw it. So here it is. This was a hit piece that went out. It was after candidate Richardson. It says, "Don't let Richardson defund our police. Defund police." So. And then it has a picture of a building that was on fire from May 2020. On the other side of it, it says something like support Price or Susie Price or something. That's the opponent. This mailer, and I'm going to let this sit here for a while. So many different comments and commentary has been surfacing about this mailer. From it being a racial hit piece, people kept talking about dog whistle and dog whistling who. So I'm gonna dive into this just for a little bit. So I actually shared this on my page yesterday, and what I shared with that, I shared the committee that was responsible for this. So this particular mailer was sent out by a group independent of the opposing candidate, an independent expenditure. So a committee is formed by a group of people, or usually a group of people, and they raise money so that they can be involved in our democratic process. And part of this democratic process is creating and sending out these mailers and different things. So this particular one was sent out by a group called Safer Long Beach. It's what is it? It's I can't actually see it on the slide here, but let me see, actually, I can come over here. Safer Long Beach for Susie Price or whatever. What I shared on my page the other day, and I'm actually going to bring this up in just a moment, is, let me take this down, who was behind that mailer. So what I discovered, and I shared this in a previous commentary, where all the information on fundraising or campaign finances can be found online. By law, it's required for candidates to report all money that they've raised. It's also required that anybody who's creating a committee for the purpose of a candidate, they also have to they also have to report where the money comes from. It is required by law. It is part of the Fair Political Campaign Committee laws of this state. They have to report it. So the committee that formed this, so going back to this, for those of us who lived through 2020, who lived through, the murder of George Floyd, who saw the uprisings take place in our city, who saw the uprisings that took place across the nation, who were paying attention to the Black Lives Matter movement and the movement for Black lives and the whole movement for defund the police. We remember this conversation, right? So even here in Long Beach, there was a campaign around defunding the police. So according to this mailer, council member Richardson was part of that. Now, was Richardson? I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But what was interesting, some of the comments, and I'm going to, it's been called a race baiting. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Okay, these are two things that I pulled offline in regards to that flyer. Okay. In one post, someone says how awful it is that, and how out of touch the police basically, or someone's being blamed for this mailer, right? And they're like, we're just 2 days from a horrific white supremacist mass murder in our country, and we have a hit piece on a progressive Black mayoral candidate in our city. Well, this kind of basically states that it was targeted to him as a Black male, a Black man who's been fighting for equity in our city, blah, 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 blah. That implies that mailer was designed to be a racial hit piece. Let me get to that in just a moment. In the other item that was pulled up, the other post that I found, and yeah, y'all, I'm watching y'all Facebook posts and I've screenshot them and I'm saving them. Actually, people were sending me this stuff as well. It says, laughable. We wish it were true that this LBC mayoral candidate was open to defunding the police. Neither he or any of the current sitting council members or major candidates for office have any interest in defunding the police. In fact, too many are touting their alignment with the police. So we got multiple, I don't want to call them arguments. We got multiple views on this particular hit piece. Someone is like, it's racially divisive and it's attacking a Black man. And then somebody else is like, ha ha, that's really funny. We know darn well that person is not about defunding the police. We'll go back to these. Oh, that's another one, a hit piece I'm going to show y'all in just a moment. Well, let's break it down. All over social media, there's conversations about how this particular mailer that came from a candidate. Well, first of all, it didn't come from a candidate. It came from an independent expenditure. But when I pulled up the information, very interesting, there was a Black man's name on the independent campaign expenditure filing. So if a Black man is part of this push, can we say it was racially divisive? Just asking. So on the other part where it talks about the defunding of the police in this statement where it says, ha, this is laughable. He was not interested in defunding the police. For those of us who lived through the budget cycle last year, unless someone can tell me differently, I believe all 9 of our council members were in agreement with giving, what was that, 41%? It was 40 something percent of the city's budget toward law enforcement. No defunding here. It didn't happen in this city, and none of our sitting council members did it. So I mention this because when we have to be, and I don't apologize for saying have to be, we need to be mindful when we see these type of things. Are they true or are they hype? Are they true or are they hype? And it's interesting how people, again, want to turn it into a race-based conversation. Again, for people who know me, for people who follow me, I am unapologetically Black. Unapologetically Black. I'm multiracial. I'm half Mexican, half Black. Yet I lived a Black woman in America. I'm unapologetically Black. But I'm also don't get caught up in what they call race baiting. And although the flyer mailer was being accused of being race baiting, unfortunately, I think people who are trying to make it that are the ones that are actually race baiting. What's also very interesting in this whole conversation around this flyer is, and I love y'all white people that consider yourself allies, but y'all don't get to define what is racism for Black people. And it's really interesting seeing that the conversation about this item being racist is coming from non-Black people. Now, I'll tell you, one of those comments about the whole defunding, that came from a Black person. Nowhere in there did that person say anything about anybody race basing, but race I messed up my word, but they did speak to the truth of the matter. Okay. So so again, be mindful when you see these things. And I am going to share something. So also again, where people are like, well, he did say defund the police. He did say, that the police should be defunded. Okay. The statement may have been made, but the city budget did not align with that comment. And actually, I was going to share the actual sound bite of that, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to move on. So as we move into this political, we're a few weeks out from the election. Here's another hit piece. So this hit piece was actually on the person that's opposing Rex Richardson. Now, also something to be mindful, folks. There are 6 candidates in the mayor's race. 6 candidates, yet there's a very large focus on Price and Richardson. The reason why is because they raise the most money. So the one who's raised the most money is usually the person who's considered the front runners. But there are 6 other candidates in this race. And those 6 other candidates in this race is going to probably make sure that neither of them wins outright. They're in different bases of people are gravitating to different candidates. Like, for example, Josh Rodriguez. He's very pro law enforcement. He is law enforcement. So there are people who are like, down with the status quo. We don't want any incumbents. We're going to vote for Josh Rodriguez. And I have talked to Josh Rodriguez. We don't agree on some things, but like I gave him props. The fact that he's consistent, the fact that he's in this race, the fact that he's standing strong on what he believes in, I give him props because there's no way I would be in this mess. Just and no disrespect to any of y'all candidates that are watching, but y'all in a hot mess. So anyway, this hit piece was specifically at Susie Price. So they found a comment somewhere. They are choosing to be homeless. Susie has no solutions. On the council, Susie has offered insults to Long Beach families but opposed common sense solutions. I don't know. I, I've not witnessed that. I'd have to go back and look at some city council meetings. Yet again, this came out today. So, folks, we need to be aware of this happening. Now, this is also, I believe, an independent expenditure. This did not come from her opponent. This came from people who are supporting her opponent. So we got people that are playing in this game, trying to play with our minds and trying to tell us how to think. And some of them don't even live in the city. Some of them do, some of them don't. Okay. So be mindful as you receive these things. And also, something that's really sad for me is how polarized we are, or how we think that people need to think like us. So if you don't agree with me, you're a problem. That's the problem. Now, I do believe that people should make decisions based upon facts or lived experiences, but not because someone told them how to. And it's also just really interesting. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we're easily manipulated. Just don't be that person. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull up a few other items. So, like I said, so how does this tie into campaign finance? How does this buy in to campaign finance? Give me just a moment to pull this up. If I can find it. Window. Give me just a second because I want to give you guys the best view I can of some of these financial records. Oh, maybe Adobe doesn't allow that. Well, let's see. I can pull it up a different way. Entire screen. Here we go. Let's do. So in the last, last time I was showing people the different, how to access the financial records. So all financial records are kept online. All financial records are kept online, and they are accessible through the Secretary of State page, and they are also accessible through the City of Long Beach's website. Okay, this is not allowing me to do what I wanted to do. Okay. All right, give me just a moment. I'm trying to find the best way to pull this up. It's not allowing me to. Okay, I'm almost there, people. Almost there. Yay, I'm almost there. Thank you for being patient. I want to say thank you to people who have been following me and who have been engaging with me on these different on this conversation. I want to say thank you for that. It is, I have had an opportunity when I've been out and about and I've been running into people and having in-depth conversations. And I think, that is really what this is all about. It's about us being able to engage in this democratic process together. And so I appreciate that. And so I hope that I can continue doing that. And I hope people are doing that with each other. So what I've just pulled up here is the financial statement. So the first mailer that I was showing you, the whole defund, whatever. Well, who was responsible for that? Well, on this, let's see if you are able to see that. Let me go. Let's see. Hopefully you're able to see that. The name of the committee is Committee for a Safe and Strong Long Beach, supporting Susie Price for Mayor 2022 and opposing Rex Richardson for Mayor 2022. So one thing about these independent expenditures, they have to state what their purpose. What is their purpose? If you look at this, if you look over here, and I probably should have highlighted this. I don't know if you can actually see my mouse. It says Robert Foster. Do you all know who that is? Do you all know who Robert Foster is? Bob Foster, former Mayor Bob Foster. So we go back, and I'm going to go back. So we go back to this hit piece. Who is responsible for this? We go back here. This is who is responsible for this. Well, if you continue, who else is on here? Dee Andrews and Alex Sharon. Well, who is Dee Andrews? Former city council member, and then Alex Sharon, I guess he's a lobbyist. That's who the principals are on this committee. So when I was talking about this whole race baiting that's happening, that people claim that this flyer is supposed to be doing. So is it race baiting when it's a black man involved, another black man? Just asking. And who gets to define that, right? Interesting. I haven't had too many conversations with other other black people. Don't see it as race baiting. They see it as some other stuff. So I'm going to continue to go through this. Oh, actually, I'm going to pull up a different one. Give me just a second. Okay. Let's see if I'm able. I don't know if you. Okay, let me go back so you can look at me while I do this. I'm going to show you who these donors are. Now, again, all of this information is public information. I'm not showing you anything. I'm not making up anything. I am pulling up information that everybody has access to in about 4 clicks. So if you go to, so this right here, let's see if you all are able to see. This right here is a mailer that I received in the mail. It's from Firefighters. At the bottom, it says paid for by Long Beach Firefighters PAC Committee 781470. So you can go to the city's website, and all you have to do actually is just type in Firefighters, and it'll come up and show you their financial records. So let me see if this is finished populating. Ooh. Oh, what's happening? Everything is starting to move slow. Again, thank folks for being patient. Okay, I think this is tired of me. It's like, no, I'm not going to open, Jerlene. No worries. Okay, so let me just go back to my notes. Be mindful as you receive these different mailers. Take the time to consider the source. Is this source? Let's see. I see some quotes here. I'm gonna pull this up. I see finance is a gun. Politics is knowing when to pull the trigger. Quote from The Godfather. Okay. Okay, if you say so. Oh, this is not working for me, people. All right, I got too much going on. It's not opening. Okay. I'm not able to pull up the finances like I like. Something is going on. But I'm just going to move on. So I don't know if anyone who's watching right now, I can't see the screen. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone, what do people think about this? Who received it? Oh, well, again, on these mailers, these different mailers that you receive, like, for example, I didn't receive that mailer in my mail, and I am what's called a high propensity voter. And when I talked to some other folks in certain areas, they did not receive the mailer. So it was most likely it was a targeted mailer. It was a mailer that was designed to do just what it did, evoke emotion. Now, what kind of emotion did it evoke? There are people who are very staunch, law enforcement, and really saw this whole defund as an attack on law enforcement. That in itself was not completely accurate. Actually, it wasn't accurate at all. I mean, when we think about the defunding of defunding, it does not say remove all funding. I mean, there are some people who are abolitionists and they believe get rid of it all. But I mean, it was about reducing the amount of money that goes toward law enforcement and having that money go into other different services. So with this, what was interesting, I'll bring it up again. The candidate Richardson began to put out different statements of demonstrating his pro-law enforcement stance. And again, people, one thing that I've recommended multiple times is that if there is opportunity for us to go and listen to these candidates, go and listen to them. And are they consistent? Are they talking? Are they saying what sounds good because of the type of people or the group of folks that are in the room? Or are they actually being genuine in their messages? Or are they just saying something to make you feel good? So in regards to that mailer, there were folks that actually believed like, again, oh, and I showed you, like, some people are like, ha ha ha, that's not true. There were actually people that believed that that candidate was, I wouldn't say anti-law enforcement, not anti-law enforcement, but was going to be more about resources and stuff for the community. But now, if you go and you look, there's a lot of statements now where they're like, "No, I'm pro law enforcement." They all are, with except of Cedillo, Raul Cedillo, who's running for mayor. He's the only candidate that I've heard that's very clear and like, "No, we don't need to hire more police officers." But every other mayoral candidate can. And again, if I call the police, I want them to answer and I want them to come and assist. So some may see that as being pro law enforcement. It's just, to me, it's just like, well, that's a service that I pay for and I want it to work. Um, I think I'm gonna have to cut this short, people, because unfortunately, I don't know if there's a problem with the city's website, but suddenly I am unable to bring up any document. So let me try one more time. Let me try one more time. And maybe I should show you all how to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this so you can do this on your own. So if it does not, so let's see. Don't you love technology, people? I love it when it works. I love it when it works, but it's really interesting. For some reason, it's not working so well. All right. So I am on the City of Long Beach's website, the city clerk. Go to campaign finance portal. And then from campaign finance portal, put in filer's name. All right. So if you look on these different things, who is the filer name? I'm actually just going to type in Safer because Safer was the name in that one mailer. Committee for Stronger and Safer Neighborhoods. Uh-oh. Really interesting. All of a sudden, the committee is not there. No wonder it would not open for me. That's very interesting, people. So if you see this, let's see, Safer. Filer's name, filer's year. Maybe the city is doing some updates because suddenly it's not there. So I'm going to pull up, let's just do another. I'm just going to put, I'm going to put in a council person. I didn't spell that right. Firefighters. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the firefighters pack. Again, this is on the City of Long Beach's website. If you're able to see this clearly, oh, I'm not sure what's happening. Did I lose feed? What's going on? Oh no, it's not working, people. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down because what's happening, for some reason, all of a sudden, I am things that I'm trying to share is not sharing. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to try this one more time, people. Thank you for being patient with me. But this is really interesting that all of a sudden I am unable to open up. Okay. Let's see if people can see this. Yeah, I'm looking at myself at another screen. So if it's working. City's website, clerk's page, filer. I'm going to do Safer again. Filer's name. All right, search. Interesting. The committee that I was sharing with you all earlier is not there. So I don't know. It's been there. I pulled down financials from there earlier. So I put in firefighters. All right. Now, if you see a Long Beach firefighters pack, This is another interesting PAC to pay attention to. So what is a PAC? PAC is a political action committee. If you see right now, you will see that there is a listing of expenditures, reports. Whenever a certain amount of money is spent at within a certain period of time, a report has to be filed. And this may be, and also it may be because we're getting into at the end to the campaign season. So I'm just going to open up one. I have not looked at this particular one. Let's see if this opens up. But that is interesting that the PAC that is responsible for that mailer is suddenly not present. I don't know what that's about. So this right here, what I did, I pulled up the Long Beach Firefighters PAC. So a PAC is an independent expenditure. Name of candidates supported or opposed. Megan Kerr. So Megan Kerr is a current school board member. She is running for the 5th District Council office. The firefighters just paid $3,816 toward a mailer. So who's paying for these different things? This is the way to find out. It's not always, and many of the times, it's not coming directly from the candidate's campaign. It's coming from an outside organization. And I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down. But I just wanted to kind of recap a couple of things. Be mindful of what you're reading and think about who's the source. Where did it come from? And in this whole conversation of wanting to, like they said, the race baiting, are you baitable? Can they bait you? You know, I found it very offensive that people kept saying, "Oh, it's a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle for who? To who? Who are they trying to dog whistle to? Because I ain't no dog." So, and also it's okay to be in discourse with people, to have conversations with people about politics, yet we don't have to like be enemies. And so I have talked to quite a few candidates. I talked to a candidate today, and my stance when I have the conversation with the candidates is the same. And you know, so there's been conversation about like, why are you doing this? Well, I'm just trying to share information. I'm not, yes. And bias. I am biased. We all are biased. I'm presenting information through the lens, my lens that I've lived, but I'm also providing people with facts and receipts. Okay. So we're all biased at some level, yet to shut people down and shut people out, we all have to live in this city together. So no matter who becomes our representative for the mayorship or for the councilship, we all have to live in this city together. And the one thing that has me kind of terrified is with the amount of anger and angst and division that is happening amongst our communities and our communities of color. There are black people over here for this candidate and black people over here for this candidate and Cambodian people over here for this candidate and Cambodian people over here for this candidate and Latino people over here for this candidate and Latino people over here for this candidate. And you got white people that's like all over and men are mixed, and we're like arguing and fussing with each other. I pray that we never have an incident like Buffalo, New York. Because if we do, we're going to be in such a hot freaking mess. We're not even going to know how to come together to resolve and protect and shelter each other. And this whole environment that we are festering, and we are creating an environment for hate in our own city. Good night, y'all. I'll be back. I'll be back on Sunday. I may be back sooner. I will be talking about some of the endorsements. Endorsements also speak to these are endorsements, okay? These different things that you get in the mail, these are representative of various endorsements. There's an opportunity. Please check out my page. There's opportunities coming up. There was some opportunities tonight. There's some opportunities tomorrow to be able to connect with some candidates in different places and spaces. There's opportunities on Friday. There's opportunities coming up next week. If you have a flyer, if you know of something that's going on, please send it my way. I'll share it. All Politricks are local. You've been live with Jerlene. I'm a mama with a voice. I'm not afraid to use it. And no matter what y'all think, I love my city. I love my city, and I love the people in the city. And I hope that you love them as well. Good night.